Over the last few months, it seems that The Force Awakens has caught a case of fandom menacing. See Chris Duckman. While I agree on a number of problems people point out on that film, it was still a good, fun film. That said, I imagine Rogue One will be a bigger target for fandom menacing as time goes on. The Last Jedi takes place immediately after the end of The Force Awakens. The First Order is chasing the Resistance and trying to snuff the last bit of them out. Meanwhile, Rey is trying to get Luke to train her and have him return to fight or inspire the Resistance. Character-wise, this was better than The Force Awakens. Some examples would be Poe. In The Force Awakens, I feel people gave more love to Poe that was really deserved. People kept saying he was the next Han Solo type character for this trilogy. Nope. With this film, he's his own character and deserves all the love that people are gonna give to him. At times, he's even the main character of the film, who's incredibly charismatic, a bit wild, and overly confident. As far as Luke, while it was predictable of what Luke's character arc was going to be in the film, it was still good. Mark Hamill is a good enough actor and he knows the character well enough that he was able to pull off Luke's journey. The reason Luke is in hiding is because of a betrayal of trust between him and his student. Kylo has very valid reasons for hating Luke, and Luke has some very valid reasons to not trust Kylo. But I imagine because of Luke's initial abbreviated training to become a Jedi, it probably wasn't going to end well with anyone he trained. Leia? I think Carrie Fisher was good in the role. I did wonder several times if Leia was going to die, since it seems these films seem to be about passing the torch via death. Carrie Fisher appears at several points in the film, and Leia does make her presence felt, even when she gets taken out of action. Slight spoiler incoming. With the way the film ended, it was obvious that Leia would have had a more significant role in the next film as well. I do wonder though, how will they address Carrie Fisher's death? Will Leia die off screen? Will she be in on another mission, or will they have someone be a body double for her and have a CGI face put on them? This happened at the end of Rogue One. FYI, the body double for Carrie in that film was her daughter. Laura Dern's character comes off one way, but by the end of the film, you realize that there's way more to her. Finn and Rose. I'm putting them both together since they spend most of their time together. I like the relationship. Rose was at times a Resistance fangirl, no nonsense about her job and the war, but she did have several very vulnerable moments. Finn, meanwhile, still wants to do the right thing, but if it means he can't help his friends, well, let's just say makes him conflicted. It is interesting though that even after 2 films, he still doesn't realize that he's a better person than he thinks he is. As far as Rey, one of the problems people had with Rey in The Force Awakens is that she was a bit of a Mary Sue. She's still a bit of one here too at times, but here it just felt like her achievements were more well earned. Also, unlike most Mary Sues or Gary Stews, her character is likable. And Daisy Ridley is a good enough actress that I felt every emotion that she gave out. As far as Kylo Ren, I honestly didn't see the trajectory of his character arc happen the way it did in this film. I thought he would fall into darkness for the entire film and then get redeemed in the next one. That doesn't quite happen here. And as far as some pros, a lot actually. Good acting and directing. I don't remember a single lens flare. The Last Jedi solved several issues people had with The Force Awakens. It didn't copy the same story points and beats of A New Hope. The film didn't have a Death Star as the big bad weapon. Well, there is a Death Star, kinda, but it was only used to open up a door. The development of characters like Poe Dameron is expanded. We actually see the conflict between Finn and Captain Phasma come to a conclusion. As for cons, not many, but there are a couple. While I enjoyed Finn and Rose's relationship, the mission they went on in the middle of the film was pretty pointless looking back on it. In the grand scheme of things, them succeeding or failing wouldn't have helped the Resistance at all. Well, it didn't wind up being that way anyway. That said, it did give them something to do, and it introduced a scumbag character that I'm sure will pop up in the next film, so I'll allow it. The other thing is, during the third act, someone does something that saves what's left of the Resistance. And about 10 minutes before that happened, I was just asking the screen, yes, I talked to the screen very quietly, why didn't you just do that? Why don't you just do this? 10 minutes later, they finally do that. It was like they were trying to stall for time or something. As for what? Do you remember how in Rogue One the Admiral used the ships against the planet shields and Star Destroyers? It's something along those lines. Also, while I did enjoy the Phasma and Finn's final fight, it didn't have enough weight to it due to them not building it up in The Force Awakens. Finn should have been fighting Phasma instead of some random soldier guy in The Force Awakens. That way, their fight here would have been a whole lot more awesome. Also, there's a character that's blown to space and survives and flies into the ship. While I'm glad the character made it, I was like, come on man, really? Really? Also, the action scenes weren't as good as The Force Awakens or Rogue One, but I gave that a pass because this film seems to be more focused on being a character study and not just some random stuff that went through my head. I guess we know now where the infamous blue milk came from, maybe. I'm not sure, but was the last planet they were on Hoth? If so, nice callback. I also like how on that planet, both the First Order and the Resistance used old tech that was just hanging around. The Resistance were out of resources and took whatever they could get. Meanwhile, I imagine the First Order were just being physically responsible. They have a galaxy to run, you know. It ain't cheap. During the climax, Luke has one of the most badass moments in film this year. I also like the scene where Luke receives a bit of a visit from a Force ghost. Also, I wasn't aware that as a Force ghost you had that much power or any power. We also get to see more of the Star Wars expanded universe here. Is that how Maz Kanata always deals with a difficult customer? If I was Chewbacca, I would have eaten one of those porgs. That way, they would have stopped bothering you. It looks like there could be a new romance blooming for the next film. Also, there could possibly be a love triangle, maybe. Also, finally, I hope this ends the whole who is Snoke, who are Rey's parents discussions that have been going on for every single day since The Force Awakens came out 2 years ago. With all that being said, yes, I recommend this. It's better than the last two films combined. This was a very enjoyable film and helped further the story as well as fix issues I had with the previous film. If you're a fan of this franchise, you'll like it. If you're not a fan of the franchise, you might still like it. And if not, you probably shouldn't be watching these films. Well, that's all I have for right now. If you like this video, then please subscribe to the channel. Click like, comment below, and until next time, have a good day.